Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right.
Write this down.
Okay.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
The time for accountability has arrived. Like clockwork, every Wednesday, the only shows in America, Purple Daily and Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd, that actually put statistics next to our predictions so you can see how incompetently wrong we are on a weekly basis.
There is, I'll just tease this. On Flagrant today, I am going to take the accountability one step further by holding myself accountable for something else. I don't need to. Technically, but my conscience needs some purification, let's say that.
To that point, so Flagrant Howls, if you are a Wolves fan who's also a Vikings fan, we have a 4 days a week Timberwolves podcast, Flagrant Howls, your favorite Timberwolves lifestyle podcast. I am distracted because we're going to do, like, we love Purple Daily. It's our flagship show. We're going to give you 45 minutes, an hour of Purple Daily here. We're going to record the OG, write that down. All I can think about is how badly I'm going to tee off on Flagrant House today. So that's just going to be in my mind. I'll make like a Vikings draft prediction and all this stuff today. We'll do some mocking, whatever. And the whole time, I just want you guys to know that while we do this Purple Daily, I am seething about the Timberwolves in the back of my mind.
The word is that Positive Phil has left the country.
Oh boy.
He's trying anyway. He drank some bad things last night, some bleach. He lit himself on fire at one point. Yeah.
I heard he's leaving, that's all.
But he will stop at Quick Trip before he leaves the country. One last stop at Quick Trip.
So that Wolves game, it's got you so mad that you got in your car today and you were so furious that you forgot a snack and you forgot your lunch for work and you're driving to work and
you forgot to play defense. It was crazy.
Your hands are on the wheel and you're gritting your teeth and you're like, I forgot all this stuff. Well, there's no time to go home, but there is time to rectify it because unlike the Wolves, you can correct your mistake by stopping at Quick Trip. Look at all of these outstanding food options. I'm telling you right now, the Quick Trip. Here's the great thing. I keep saying this. It's like a grocery store, but it's easier. It is fittingly quicker. And if you don't have time to stop in, you're so mad, you're like, I don't have time, Sports Dad. Well, you know what? Just put the app on your phone, order ahead, and they will bring it out to you. That's right, Quick Trip. It's where the food is. It makes your life as easy as possible, and it allows you to make the exact adjustments that the local NBA team couldn't make in their game, so make sure to stop at Quick Trip.
Speaking of adjustments, Write That Down is presented by North American Banking Company. You could make an adjustment to the way that you go about your banking. If you're not too happy, I told you guys vaguely, but as specifically as I can without getting in trouble with another company. I had a really bad banking experience like 3 months ago. And I just want to talk to a human. Just like literally need someone that I can talk to about a problem that needs to be solved. And it was impossible for like 2 weeks, it seemed like. But North American Banking Company specializes in personal human connection. It's a local bank with 6 branches here in the Twin Cities: Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, and 50th in France. And whether it is simple checking savings things that you're looking for a better experience with, or something bigger like you're looking for a new home and you want help with the mortgage process, or you're financing something big, a new business, whatever it may be, North American Banking Company is here to help you. nabankco.com/Mackie to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackie. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Write this down.
All right, dudes. Here's how it works. Every single week on this show, we make 3 Vikings or football or show-related predictions. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to participate like our guy Jason is about to in a few minutes, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app and we'll get you scheduled. So it's that time of year where there's not a whole lot coming off the board for Purple Daily because we're kind of between free agency, the draft. But I think we can take this one. If this does somehow happen, Judd, then we'll revisit this.
No.
You said Aaron Rodgers will sign with the Titans.
Take it off.
Take it off.
Take it off. I'm wrong. I was wrong a lot in the last couple days.
They're like, we don't even want to meet with Shedeur Sanders. No, so
that's not happening.
We're probably just going to roll with Cam Ward and Mayonnaise boy Will Levis and go from there. All right, I said the DC Defenders would beat the Memphis Showboats by at least 16 points. They did win, but by single digits. So,
A little bit of sweat there.
yeah, I don't know. If they were trailing, I just saw that they won by like 6 or something. So, okay, listeners, Jay said, this is one of the oldest predictions still on the board from 3-4 years ago. Jay said when Trey Lance signs his second contract, it'll be no more than league average for starting quarterbacks. While it was very, very, very far below league average. But he did sign. Who he signed with the
Chargers.
The Chargers.
Chargers. He and Taylor Heineke are right now the backups to Justin Herbert.
Interesting. Trey Lance does belong in a program where they don't really throw the ball. You know, it's a good spot there, the Chargers.
That's a very damning statement.
Yeah.
And the Dex had nothing come off the board here, but we will highlight a prediction still on the board here.
I can't see it. Can you guys see it?
It's not triggering, huh? That's
I'll go-
weird.
No,
Put
I
it
should
in
take
my
it
head, and I will envision what it looks like.
I've got
There we
Jay's.
I feel like StreamYard's giving us some problems here. Can you see this? We'll see if this pops. It might just be on delay.
There we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
Said there'd be a credible report about a specific team or teams who checked in on trading for Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
How credible is the Purple Daily Anonymous tip
Yeah.
line for this?
You know, it's funny when we were reading that tip last Friday. I thought about this, but it's not. I need a Glazer or a Rap Sheet or Pellis. I need a credible person to come out.
The call can't come from inside
Yeah.
the house.
Yeah, I thought about this, but I figured no, it still doesn't qualify. But I still like the chances of this now that the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line came out. Who's to say Jay Glazer won't go on Levitard and drop that? Yeah, it was the Packers who tried to trade for Kevin O'Connell.
This feels like something that could come out on draft day, where because there's certain Super Bowl Sunday, draft day, where all the eyes are on the NFL, and these national insider reporter guys tend to save some of their best stuff.
Embargo this stuff. You're right.
So maybe this comes off the board officially, but right now it stays on the board. So, okay, for the 2025 season stats, which you can see, I guess, on the YouTube channel, and the season runs Super Bowl to Super Bowl. So we're still pretty early here in the season. I'm leading with a 55.5% completion percentage. Judd 50%. Listeners just a tick under 43%. Declan 28.5%. Judd with 2 touchdowns. I have 1. Listeners and Declan still looking for their first touchdowns on the season. Career stats, Declan 36.5%, Judd just under 35%. I'm at 34.5%. Listeners 24%, but listeners lead with 60 touchdowns because most of the listeners get on here and just throw the ball 60 yards down the field and do 5-item parlays and things. So there we have it. Let's get our guy in here. Listener Jason making his debut on Write That Down. What's going
on, guys? So happy to be here. Huge fan of the show. I do celebrate Thor's Day. I think Chipper, Forno, Doogie, they're great. Even Declan, I think it's your uncle Randy from Cottage Grove. Love it when Randy gets on here, man. Seriously excited. Just a huge Minnesota Vikings fan, and been for a long time, man. Been through the ups and downs, a lot of downs, but recently we have something new that's come to town, and it's been growing with a little bit more intensity each day, and that's hope, boys. We got hope.
That's right, Judd. Get the flag. The flag.
Wave that flag, baby.
Call for that flag. You got to call for the flag, man.
Need the flag, Judd.
There we go.
Voluntary off-season flag workouts here.
Yep.
Voluntary.
Yep, you can tell I'm a little weak.
Look at those.
A little bit weak. I've been taking some time off from the flag, but there it is. I got to gear up for draft night when I got the big flag.
Yeah.
Flexing those forearms, Judd.
Oh, you got to see these
Love it.
Popeye babies, huh?
Those Popeye babies. Just
Good stuff.
pounding spinach. So, JC, give us your background, man. When did you first become a fan of this team? Give us your background.
I'm from Mendota, Illinois, and it's a small farming town. And my dad went to high school with the guy that was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, Bill Brown.
Yeah,
he was a running back, and his nickname in high school was Cornhole. My dad told me.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. And when I was younger, it was like the Bears, and the Bulls. And But like as I started watching football, there was guys like Warren Moon, Randy Moss, Chris Carter was like a god on the field, But I really got into it, and that's how we became Vikings fans. And I got my dad to thank me for that, I guess. But I just kind of stuck with it. And then when I got older, my Sundays were mostly chasing deer around and stuff, and I moved out to New York. And now that I have 4 kids and I'm chasing them around, I got time to watch football. So the last 10 years, I haven't missed a game. I really haven't. And then, last couple of years I've been working from home, and it's just your show's awesome. Purple Daily, dude. I love it, man. I tune in all the time.
Awesome, man. You're a big wrestling fan too, right?
Well,
tell us about your wrestling ties.
Well, my background as an industrial designer, I worked at Orange County Choppers in Newburgh, New York for like 16 years. We were on the Discovery Channel, American Chopper. So I was the guy that was sketching all the bikes and modeling all the parts and running the CNC machines and running around like crazy and selling bikes and just trying to stay alive. But one of the things I got to do is the championship belts, and that was for WWE directly. So whenever you see like belts like on TV, like one of the athletes, a lot of them come right here from me. So what I do is I machine them out, and they're always in such a hurry. They always need it like now. So I have the machine right here with me, and when I need it, I do lights out machine. The thing will be running out here while I'm sleeping, and I get it done for them, and I have for almost over a dozen years now.
Wow.
So when we have a change in champion or something, and so you have to put someone engrave a new name on a belt or all that stuff, right?
The disclaimer: these are all old. I'm not leaking any
give us a spoiler for Mania here, dude. Yeah,
like that. These are all old ones. This is the heavyweight. This was an inlay test. Now this is flat, okay, but I do have a roller, and I roll them out, so they have like that curve to them.
Yeah,
but this
so
is how they start, and they go to a cat in Pennsylvania, and he puts the stones and puts the leather on them, and so here's some stuff. But
that's really cool, man.
Yeah, I love it, man. You know what's cool is I love how iconic those belts are. They're like the Lombardi, dude. Like people see that, they recognize them, they travel the world, and I have pride knowing that I had a small part in it, like machining them out. But every once in a while we get like something like this. This was like it's the
Minnesota Lynx 2024 World Champions. Wow.
Yeah, you know how sometimes you
do you have any placeholder ones for Minnesota Vikings? Minnesota Vikings 2026 World Champions. Do you have any placeholders?
No, but I have a deal because I don't always make the side little plates. Sometimes they contract someone else, but I do have a deal that if and when the Vikings make it, I get to make the side plates. So that's written in blood. And
hold on a second. That talk.
More labor, more
flag
there we go.
out.
There we go,
A
Judge.
little more flag exercise.
Love it.
Awesome.
But yeah,
man.
so I don't follow the sports, the wrestling. I do have my kids are all in wrestling. It's just a different style, but I think it's just awesome. It's awesome to see it mainstream. It's awesome to see the quarterbacks after the Super Bowl walking around with the belt. I'm like, oh my goodness, look at this. So, but yeah, football is my passion. I love watching it. I'm entertained by it, and it's just being a Vikings fan, man. It's tough, but it's looking promising. Really is.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, let's get into the predictions here. We'll start with Jason. We'll go over to Judd, Declan, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room here. Curious to see what your strategy is.
Okay.
How bold you're going to be here. Are you going to be checking down? We'll find out.
Oh no, I'm going, dude.
Okay.
I didn't have anything, and I was like, I'm just going to forfeit. I don't know. I'm going to let Declan come up with one. He's going to be my proxy. But I did have one last night just before bed, and I did physically write it down on a Post-it note.
Oh, nice.
Okay?
Very
Post-it
Judd-like.
notes are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Post-it notes are great too.
Yeah. So here we go.
Yep.
The 2025 Minnesota Vikings are gonna double the rushing touchdowns from last year.
Let's get it. What was it? Is it 7?
It was. I think I read that it was 11. Gemini told me it was 11, but you know.
Okay, it might have been. Yeah, they might have snuck
Yeah.
in. So let's get it to 20. That shouldn't be like one a game. Shouldn't really be an unreasonable ask. You know, when you're at the 3-yard line,
I was going to
And it's-
say,
can Will
the red
Fries
zone.
move
The
somebody
deep
out of
red.
the way? You know,
The
it
deep
should
red,
be-
get in the end zone.
They
I
had
feel
9.
like KOC wants to run the ball so bad because he knows how it'll expose the defenses. You know, if that running game is working and they're all like, oh man, we just can't stop this. It's just pouring down the field at us. That's when you're going to see Addison or Hawkinson or the man Jefferson catch one. And it's going to be explosive. I think if they can get that run game just pounding down, it's going to change things, you know? We all think KOC is just this guy that wants to throw the ball, but I think deep down he wants to pound the ground and throw the ball once.
That's what he
in a
said.
while.
He just said, I want to run more. So
Yeah, he should. He should.
Deep
It
red, I
controls the
think.
game. It controls the clock. It controls
Absolutely.
the turnovers. And that's why McCarthy, Thor got me on the McCarthy, obviously, but if McCarthy can control the game and control the clock and do smart things, that's all we need him to do. We don't need the next freaking Joe Montana or, Mahomes zinging it every which way, sideways, throwing curveballs while he's falling down. We need someone to stand in there and just distribute and be a manager,
Yeah. In 3 years, I'd love him to be the next Mahomes,
Sure.
Joe Montana, et cetera. But the first couple of years, yeah, just
Write this down.
chill. All right, Joe, what's your first prediction?
All right, the Vikings will, and I think I talked about this yesterday on Purple Daily. The Vikings are going to trade back on draft night, but they're not going to trade out of the first round. So they're going to trade back from 24, but I don't think they're going to lose a first round pick. I think that they're going to do some type of swap and get more compensation, but they are going to stay within the top 32.
Okay. So what if they make 2 trades? Technicality, like if they make a trade, can you phrase that again? I just want to hear
The
this.
Vikings
I'm
will
gonna
trade
close my-
back on draft night, but not out of the first round. So if they
So if
trade
they
out of
make-
the first round, then I'm wrong.
Right, but if they trade back like the PFF trade,
Yep.
and they that would be one transaction to 28 or 30 or 32.
Yep.
And then the second transaction would be, I almost feel like this is a technical loophole that
The spirit of I will go with this. If they don't have a first round pick, I'm wrong.
Right. Yep.
okay.
So just
I got
put.
you.
So yes, I'm saying
They'll
that they
have a
will
first
have
round
a
pick.
first round pick. If they don't, I'm wrong.
Okay.
Which I've
Very-
been wrong a lot lately,
very accountable.
including about the
Write this
Wolves. But I
down.
don't want to talk about that right now.
Is Bo Callahan in this draft this year, or is he
want my picks
waiting for
back.
No,
next
Vontae
year?
Mack is though. Vontae Mack
Always.
is.
We should grab him. Yeah.
Vontae Mack, no
Oh,
matter what.
Callahan.
No matter what.
No one went to the party.
All right, write this down. Judd gave his mock schedule 1.0, so I'll put a prediction on from it. Judd will be correct on at least 2 schedule predictions in his 1.0. And disclaimer: the opponent and the week only. The time irrelevant.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
God, if I really hitched my wagon at the times of this, then I'm really going all out. But the opponent and the week only in at least 2 of his mock 1.0 schedule.
Yeah, I like it. So, well, if he gets the Ireland Viking Steelers one, but he'd have to nail the week that happens.
Correct.
essentially.
Correct.
So,
Or
yeah.
just that
Right.
I guess, the week that they play.
Yep.
Wouldn't matter.
Write this down.
Okay. Write this down. So there's been a lot of Jackson Dart first round steam, and maybe even the Jalen Milrose getting invited to the draft. I think teams are going to come to their senses here. This is a weak quarterback draft. Write this down. There will be 2 or fewer quarterbacks drafted in the first round. 2 or fewer quarterbacks drafted in the first round. I wouldn't be entirely shocked if it was 1, and if Shador. I think that'd be a heavy upset if that happened, but
Yeah.
kind of feels like teams are going to go back to how they felt 3 months ago.
It's so
before
hard
all
to
this.
tell though. Like because there's this draft steam, and sometimes the draft steam has nothing to do with the reality of what's transpiring.
Yeah, it's all of
So,
us
yeah.
idiot mockers out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Pushing
Set the
agendas.
agenda.
Okay, back to Jason here.
Well, you know what? I'm grasping at straws here, but I think we're gonna go 4-0. 4-0. All right. Vikings are gonna be 4-0.
Okay. You're feeling a hot start, basically.
Yep.
In September.
I am. Weather's nice. You know, everyone's happy. Everyone's healthy. The knees are all strong.
Love
Knock
this.
on wood.
Yeah. Let's hope. Yeah.
Yeah, let's knock on wood on that
Yeah,
one. Let's
baby.
not.
Hope
Come
they're
on.
This down.
strong. Okay, Judd.
All right, back to a draft prediction. Travis Hunter will be taken in the top 3 of this draft.
Okay.
So he'll go
It's kind of checked down in here.
in the top
Yeah.
3. He's been a top 5 in some. He's been a top 3 in some. I think he's top 3 for sure.
Okay. All right.
I mean, yes,
You can pad your completion percentage.
Yeah, it's
here.
not. I mean,
yeah,
yes,
just one
I'm
of
not
like
throwing-
the
I'm
greatest
not
college
throwing
football
deep.
players in history. It
I'm
might
not
be a
throwing
top
deep.
3 draft pick.
I feel like there's some guys feel like there's some controversy about this a little bit. So I'm going to
So
put him in
much
the top 3.
controversy.
I'm going to put him in the top 3. And you know what? If I get the points, I'm going to take the points.
A lot of controversy over whether Travis Hunter goes 2 or 3. You know,
I've seen 5.
covered those
4.
both. All right, Dex.
I'll make a Shadur Sanders prediction. Phil said he won't be a first or could not be a first round pick. I think he does fall out of the top 10 though, so he will not be a top 10 pick. So I think the Raiders could still grab him maybe at what are they at 6-8? I forget which number they're at, but I think he'll slide out of the top 10. He will not be a top 10 pick. Write it down.
Maybe he tumbles to the Steelers at 21 or something.
Write this down.
Okay, I have a draft party prediction here.
Ooh.
And it's about Judd, but you can keep your headphones on. You can
Okay.
keep your headphones on here.
Okay, so no risk.
I'm leaving this in the hands of the audience live at the Fillmore on Thursday, April 24th, 7 p.m.
Gotcha.
There will be a Judd chant at some point. We had one last year. I think we're going to go back-to-back years. And by the way, I'm going to recluse myself here. I can't start the Judd chant because I'm the one making the prediction.
It's got to be organic.
But there was an organic Judd chant at the draft party last year. And I think we're going to get another Judd chant from the audience that loves their sports dad. Write it down.
Okay.
Judd waving that flag, slow
I was gonna
motion.
say the flag. I think the flag helps.
Write that down.
Okay, back to Jason for his third and final prediction.
Okay, so I'm all about like the draft, but I feel like bad teams are really all about the draft. And this year, I feel so good with everything, and I'm just keeping it positive. You know, I'm not so concerned about the draft. So it's going to be best player available for the Vikings wherever they pick, and I really want them to take the first position that's available. Okay, and I'm going to get wild here, and I'm going to say the Vikings are going to select with their first pick, if it's in the first or second, I'm not sure, whatever they do, their first pick is going to be a linebacker.
Okay.
Yep.
Judd would actually be pretty happy. I don't know. Maybe if they stuck and pick
Inside
one, you'd be
linebacker.
mad. But if they picked up some extra draft picks and
Oh, that's
Off-ball.
not what I want. That's not like,
Right.
that's not what I'm pulling for. I'm pulling for a wide receiver and just stack that room, man. You know?
go 3 deep again. Totally agree. Wide receiver would be kind of a blast, you know, if a guy tumbled like the dude from Mizzou last week on Thursday.
Well, you do what you're good at. And the Vikings have proved in the last handful of years they're good at drafting wide receivers.
Yeah.
So stick with what you're good at, man. Don't get cute, Kwesi.
Yeah. Try Kwesi. Take a deep breath.
Judd, that was your words right there.
Don't get cute. Don't get cute. But in this case, I think that you might be right because O'Connell certainly has a big say. So like I could see that. But yes, if they add depth at off-ball linebacker, I'm not going to complain.
I just want the first position. Do you know what I'm saying? So that way we
Yeah.
could say, well, he was the best
Right.
linebacker.
BPA. Just a
Yeah.
BPA. Yeah.
He was the first one up because you know the best cornerback's going to be gone. The best
Yeah.
defensive tackle's going to be gone. The best offensive lineman's gone. So I just want the best player for that position. There you
I
go.
hear you.
Love it, man. Jason, since great job with your predictions here. Since you've already had the life-changing platforms of American Chopper, the WWE, and making belts, but since you've got this new life-changing platform here on Purple Daily, is there anyone you'd like to thank in your life right now?
Yeah, a lot of people. But you know what I want to say? Like, just being on this has got me more excited than like all that, you know? Yeah, basically my family. You know, my mom and dad got me into football, and I think my mom is a closet Packer fan, but she pulls for the Vikings, I think, around us. But you know, they always had a quarterback. They always had the guy, you know. Anyways, my dad, you know, he got me into it, and my wife for putting up with me. She goes to the games with me. We scream as a family. You know, it's a family thing. Everyone's jumping on the couch. Got these big ceilings in the house, and everyone's every time there's a first down. It's just positive energy, even if we don't win. You know, that's what it's about. And we got to remember the name, Entertainment Network. You know, as long as you're having fun, it's all right, man. You know, so that's where I'm at with it. But yeah, thanks to those people, and thank to you guys, man. You know, giving me an outlet besides just that like 3-hour window on Sunday. You know.
Dude, thank you for the kind word. Hey,
You're
if people want to connect with you or follow you on socials, are you active on social media?
You know what? It's just such a wasteland of negative vibes. But I mean, like seriously, you know, if you're on TV for 16 years and you design over 300 motorcycles, somehow people hate you. You know, I'm like, okay, guy, you know, Harley's better. I'm like, duh, you know, but it's like, you know, I did the math. It was 1.6 custom bikes per month, you know, and that's pretty good. It's a pretty good click. You know, I'm really moving with that. So I'm proud of my body of work. But yeah, I'm on Instagram once in a while. It's Pooley. And I have a website, which is jasonpool.com. It's Pool is spelled Pohl. And yeah, I'm just doing it, man. I, you know, love life, love my kids, my family, and, you know, Skull, baby. Let's get one. Let's get one.
Amen.
I just want to see it one time. One time, I just want to see it.
Amen,
And
brother.
I just love it,
Amen,
man.
brother. And with that, I bid you adieu. I will give you the flag, Jason.
There he is.
Thanks, Sports Dad.
Jason
You're
making his
awesome.
predictions. We'll definitely do it again sometime, man.
Awesome.
Enjoy the off season. All right, Jason. Thanks, man. Hey, before we get to the rest of our predictions and get to maybe a fun mock or two here, the draft party that we mentioned is coming up, the 2025 Purple Daily Draft Party presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, Thursday, April 24th at 7 p.m. ScoreNorth.com/draft to get your tickets. ScoreNorth.com/draft. The VIP tickets include a meet and greet with the show, premium balcony seating, 2 drink vouchers, food voucher. We're going to have the scoop sofa with Doogie on stage and with our guy Tyler Fornes. Jesse Pierce roaming the crowd like last year, the sports dad likely waving the flag, and it'll be a celebration of your favorite football team. This podcast spending $250 million in free agency, for crying out loud. But yeah, a shout out to a Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, 2 Men in a Junk Truck, Roku, Element Hotel, where you can get a 15% room rate discount, scorenorth.com/element, which is connected to the Fillmore for a 15% room rate discount that night. So we're looking forward to it here in just over 2 weeks. Speaking of 2 Men in a Truck, Dex has a big move coming up, so he's been in contact with our guys for sure.
I did. Actually, I had a call with them yesterday. They made this so much easy. They sent me a checklist, and they said, Declan, what are we moving out of this house? So they just gave me a checklist. I got a couple beds that got to get out of here. I have a sofa. I got a love seat. I got things that obviously can't fit in the car. I don't want to deal with moving it. And my friends at 2 Minute Truck are going to come and help me out and help me get all this stuff out of this house, which is going to be awesome. The process was super easy. It's not intimidating. They did a great job, and they want to make sure what they quote is what you pay, no hidden fees or service charges. You can book your free, no obligation appointment at 2meninatruck.com. That's 2meninatruck.com.
Hey, Park Dental is my new dentist. Very, very excited about my new dentist, Park Dental, for the last 2 visits. I was without a dentist, sadly, just wandering in the wilderness. My teeth were about to fall out. No, it wasn't that bad. I've only had like 4 cavities in almost 4 decades on Earth. So it's not too bad. But over 50 years, Park Dental's been caring for and cleaning teeth in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin. And if you were like me looking for a new dentist or just a better experience, you can check out several different Park Dental locations, likely one within just close driving range of where you work or live, either in the Twin Cities or Western Wisconsin. Schedule your checkup at parkdental.com. Parkdental.com.
Write that down.
All right, Judd, what is your third and final prediction here?
So I'm changing mine because I think Jason might be right. And by the way, major, to me at least, Kyle Brandt vibes.
Yeah, positive energy.
Really positive, but really good. Like really brings it.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, couple of great TV stars from the 2000s.
Exactly. Absolutely. So write this down. The Vikings will take a wide receiver with their first draft pick. So they will take a wide receiver. I don't know why, but it feels like it's gaining a little bit of steam, and they really do like unless you think that Naylor is the answer as a potential 2 for for probably 3 games. I think that there's some question marks there. So I would not be surprised.
It could be a little bit. It's maybe not quite apples to apples, but when the Seahawks had Tyler Lockett, and he was aging a couple years ago. The Vikings don't have like an aging number 1 or number 2, but they do have a number 2 in Jordan Addison that they might not give a contract extension to, and that might be expendable like in a year or 2.
Correct.
But then they had DK Metcalf, so you think, oh, they're pretty set at wide receiver. And then they drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba as the 3rd, and those guys really helped Geno Smith become a quarterback that's worth like $40 million a year on the open market. So and the Vikings have shown in their history, just because you've got 2 really good receivers,
right,
doesn't mean that you would avoid taking a 3rd one. Randy Moss being the ultimate example in NFL history.
And I don't think, like, I think with Jordan, I think that second contract is a 2-way street too. Like, I think the Vikings might, because of his off the field indiscretions, they might not want to do a rich second contract. But if you're him, I might want to leave, because I could probably get paid as a number 1 elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to, clearly with Justin's contract and Justin's play, it's not going to happen. So I could see trying to create some insulation there for a guy that could easily bump up to the 2nd spot too in a couple of years.
Yeah.
By the way, FanDuel has position of the Minnesota Vikings first drafted player odds. Cornerback is the leading candidate at plus 170. Safety at plus 300. Offensive lineman plus 340. Defensive lineman edge plus 470. And then linebacker plus 1100. Wide receiver plus 6,000. First player drafted.
Dude. Could be a life-changing if you're really confident about it.
100.
Yeah. You throw a little something.
Be pretty rich.
Okay, Dex, your 3rd and final.
Write this down. I'll make another schedule prediction. Vikings will have a primetime game in September. They'll get one early. They'll get one. I kind of like the Judds Week 1 idea. I like that one, but I think they'll get an early primetime game.
Well, they had what? A couple of years in a row, did they play like week 2 primetime in Philadelphia?
Yeah, they had
Thursday night, and then there was one before that. I think there was a Monday night or something.
Yeah, I think they had back-to-back week 2 Thursday night games against Philly. Wasn't
it was
it
Thursday
2 years
night.
in a
Okay,
row? I think they did that.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Write this down here. I'm trying to. Let me pull
down.
up the. I have an idea here, but I just want to verify that. We know the Eagles are picking 32nd, and then the Chiefs are picking 31st. So write this down. The Minnesota Vikings will trade back with either the Chiefs or the Eagles in the first round. Mm-hmm. So they will, or I'll just say they will trade with either the Chiefs or the Eagles, and it'll involve their first round pick.
The Vikings
First round pick. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. I'm like paranoid about loopholes here. So
you really are today.
The Vikings will trade. I know how this game
You're
works.
skittish
all right?
today. You're like tweaking.
I'm just thinking about the fourth quarter last night.
All those leave.
So yeah, just to rephrase it, the Vikings will trade with the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles, or both, perhaps, in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. I think that covers loopholes. I guess we'll find out in the accountability session the week after.
Feels like I'm not quite sure. I think it does.
Because is there like a world where they trade a player or something? Right. I don't know.
This is
but
awesome.
I could see the Chiefs.
This is like self-help. I mean, if you look at it, the probability.
Sorry,
why are all these spiders around?
I'm scared.
I could see the Chiefs like moving up for an offensive lineman or something. You know, they got Joe Thuney's gone.
Yep.
The Eagles lost a lot of depth on defense with guys, because if they see a dude that could help them fortify their depth up front, I could see those teams moving back up somewhere. So, all right, those are the write that down predictions.
Write this down.
The accountability
Write it
session.
down. You like writing things down.
You know what's like, just with our guy Jason joining us there for predictions, it is pretty cool. And we talked about this last week too, with Giannis from Greece joining us on Write That Down. The Vikings fan base is so widespread. And week after week after week on this show, whether it's Feedback Friday or Write That Down, it continues to blow my mind just how maybe there's a loose connection to Minnesota in some way, but otherwise maybe you have, because most people become fans through your parents grew up in Minnesota and then you were born in Minnesota and you become a fan. But there's something about the Vikings where even if you've no connection to Minnesota and you're picking an NFL team, that there's something about the franchise and the history and the pain, but the competitive nature. It's not like you're picking a garbage franchise like the Jets or the Browns. You're picking a team. It's a sweet spot for choosing your new favorite football team, I feel like.
It's weird too, because it's like everything from Moss, right? Like I got into the team when Moss came along, and that is a big thing. But like in some cases, it's because, and this seems small to us, but it's because they have cool colors. Like they got cool jerseys. Which you know what sounds silly, but
That's why I was a Hornets fan as a
it's a major
major
thing. It is a major thing. And the Vikings, there's a lot of teams that probably have like not really cool jerseys or colors, right? They're like sort of like, I don't know about that. The Vikings, they pop.
Like
the
Browns. The Browns are doing nothing to
That's a
attract
great
fans.
one.
You know, you're a loser franchise. You're signing creepy quarterbacks. Your owner is adult, and your colors are weird.
Yes.
You know what are you doing to attract fans there in Cleveland?
They're boring.
And your city is kind of meh.
But I mean, the Vikings, you got the purple pops. It's really cool. The helmets are super cool.
It is a great logo, objectively.
Yes, they did a great job with it.
And I know that the horn has been a staple for all 60 plus years of the franchise.
Yeah.
I would not be opposed if they created an alternate helmet for a game with the profile Victor the Viking version of the logo.
Oh.
The full, like the braided.
Those might be fighting
Viking.
Words with
Don't
some
you
fans,
think that would look
but I could actually
sweet though on the side of a
it.
helmet? Not, just for like a game,
Right,
for some
I could see it.
alternates.
I thought the all white wouldn't look good until I saw the players in them, and I liked it.
Yeah.
So
like the
it's-
white helmet too, because they've
yes.
worn the white uniforms a bunch.
Yes, but the all white. It's weird. My whole thing is I can't tell on jerseys and helmets as well until players are wearing them. Like I'll think that's okay, that's not great, but then the players will have them on, and it's like, oh no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like the all purples. I don't know.
Little grimacy.
It just kind of
Yeah.
Looks like
bunch
grimace.
of Barney the dinosaurs running.
Although
Pat Williams.
Pat Williams in all purple was the greatest of all time, man.
Like the Kool-Aid guy or something.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Get your quarterback.
Sack you. Yeah.
Those were great.
So, all right, those are the write that down predictions here. We've got a couple fun little mocks we're gonna throw on the table.
Nice.
Presented by MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air. If you would take us there, Judd.
Absolutely. Well, in fact, guess what, folks? I've been talking about this for quite some time, but I'm going to continue to harp on this. Sportsnet doesn't just endorse them. MSP, he uses them, and they do fantastic work. I've told you they've been to my house a couple of times in the past 2 months for some big work. Most recently, they fixed my furnace, which was on the fritz. They came in no time and got it working. Joe, in this case, did a fantastic job. And now they are teaming up with our friends from Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Store and partnering for the Big Green Egg giveaway. Get $60 off any HVAC or plumbing repair, and you'll be entered for a chance to win the Big Green Egg from Fratelloni's. Has a $1,000 value. 2 great family-owned and operated companies in Fratelloni's and also MSP. For service with MSP, give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callamsp.com. Callamsp.com. It's all about trust and quality of service. MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air passes those tests with flying colors.
Isn't there a craft beer festival coming up here too? My spies are
is.
telling me. Okay.
There is. There'll be over 80 breweries. 80 breweries and craft beverages companies serving unlimited pours too, by the way, at the Minnesota Craft Beer Festival. Get your tickets at the minnesotacraftbeerfestival.com before they're gone. Yeah, they'll be at the Minneapolis Convention Center Saturday, April 26th from 1 to 5 o'clock. If you're a beer lover, you love craft beer, it's a must attend. Get your tickets, minnesotacraftbeerfestival.com.
Okay, there's a lot of mocks, just rapid fire mocks out here right now. I want to do a mock draft like fire round here. So we're going to hit 3 quick ones, including NFL.com's Rhett Lewis and also from NFL Network. Apparently he only does the one mock.
Oh boy. Okay.
So this is it.
I love this one. I only do one mock, so pay attention because it's going to be absolutely correct across the board.
But like, why would you if you're only going to do one?
But guys brag about this.
Yeah.
Didn't Kuiper or McShay used to do just one, and then eventually their employers like you're in
the content business, guys. What do you? No, it must be.
No, I just do one, and that's all I do.
So okay, he has at least one projected trade here, which is good. He's got Cam Ward, number 1 of the Titans. Then he has the Raiders trading up to number 2 for Travis Hunter.
Okay.
And the Browns bump all the way down to 6, right? And then Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3. Let's see here. Then the Browns wind up with Ashton Jeanty, the running back, to take over for aging and free agent Nick Chubb.
Oh, that's interesting.
And Kirk Cousins can have a good young running back to hand the ball off to. Yep.
No, he can check down constantly.
Or to check down to.
Oh, wow.
Shedeur Sanders to the Saints at 9. And we scroll down here to the 24th overall pick, where the Minnesota Vikings, according to Rhett Lewis's one and only mock, select South Carolina safety Nick Emmanwori, which you're seeing that more and more. Tankathon also currently has the Vikings taking Nick Emmanwori. I believe he is the most frequently mocked player to the Vikings at this point, at least over the last couple months. So, all right.
I want a mock.
Now we go over to, so that was a 1.0 and only for Rhett Lewis.
See you, Rhett.
Yahoo is up to not 1.0, not 2.0, not 3, not 4,
7.
8.0.
8. Yahoo's bringing it. No, that's a content creator right there. Yahoo.
This Nate?
This is, Nate Tice and Charles McDonald from Yahoo. So Cam Ward, number 1. Travis Hunter, number 2 to the Browns. And then, let's see here. That's some meat and potatoes. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders at 6. I don't think they have trades in here. But they do have Shedeur falling. Really? Okay, to 21 to the Steelers.
That's
At least like the Steelers are like this net waiting to catch Shedeur Sanders.
That's the second or third time that I think we've now had Shedeur dropping all the way to 21.
Yep. And then with the 24th overall pick, Nate Tice and company at Yahoo have the Minnesota Vikings selecting out of East Carolina cornerback Siobhan Revell Jr. So the write-up is, I'm truly fascinated with what the Vikings do in this draft. They could be a trade back candidate in attempt to recoup some of their draft selections. They could also draft any position here, maybe outside of skill positions. So they're kind of ruling out wide receiver. And it would make sense. The Vikings signed some veteran defensive linemen in free agency, which turns my attention to the back end. Revel has the upside of being a true number 1 outside cornerback. He would give the Vikings a talented player at the position that would open up even more coverage options for Brian Flores to throw out there.
That one makes sense. The safety one perplexes me a little bit. So if you drafted a safety first round, hopefully this time that guy would start, right? Like you wouldn't put him on ice and then release him after a couple of years. So if you did that, would you would Theo Jackson not start? The new safety would start. He might be versatile. Does that mean that you're not planning to sign Metellus to an extension? Like, I guess my question, and he would eventually replace Harrison Smith. I just have some questions about that one.
Yeah, well, they're paying Theo Jackson starter money, maybe even more so than they were paying Blake Brandel starting money around the same time last year.
Sure.
But not so much money that you'd feel obligated to play him the entire season. But it's enough to like, all right, we trust him to be a starter. But again, if there's a stud player sitting there that's 6 slots undervalued,
right,
I don't care what position he plays, unless it's court. Like basically, if Shedeur Sanders fell to your lap, you'd probably just have to trade out. But other positions, I would look to pick.
So the one thing about the safety spot though is, I don't know that I would be, unless the guy is an absolute stud. I don't know that I'd be inclined to draft a safety. So I'm not like, it's the position. So like a corner, yes, for sure. Defensive tackle, yes. Wide receiver, certainly potentially. When it comes to positional value, unless like the best safety in the draft is just free falling, I don't know. I'm actually more hung up on the position than I am of like the guy's not a player. It's just the value of that position.
It also feels like, even though the 2022 draft class was such a disaster, and when we're still kind of seeing the problems with that, this feels like a draft class, even with limited picks, they need like immediate contributors. They need guys that to contribute to this team, that can help them set them. They have a good roster on paper for sure. But like, look at what the Lions were able to do with a couple of their draft classes lately. I mean, they got immediate contributions from those picks. I think the Vikings are in a similar boat where they need immediate people to help them out.
Let's give you one more here. From the most accurate mock draft site in the world, WalterFootball.com.
Oh, I thought it was the Blaster coming up.
No, that is the thinking man's guide to the draft would be Draft Blaster. This is the most accurate mock draft site in the world, Walter Football.
Wow.
And he has Cam Ward number 1, and then Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. So a little chalkity chalk here. Where does he have Shedeur? He's got Genty to the Cowboys at 12.
Well, that's old. That's not happening. He ain't getting to 12.
This is from yesterday, so
No, I'm saying the Genty to Dallas at 12 is like so February.
It is.
Very February.
Unless I miss something, I feel like he has Shedeur absolutely tumbling in this draft. So I don't know, but at 24, he's got the Minnesota Vikings selecting out of Oregon defensive tackle Derek Harmon. So to slide right in there behind the 2 veterans. And then he does like the full 7-rounder here. So I'm just curious, with write-ups for all these dudes, with the 97th overall pick, WalterFootball.com has the Vikings selecting out of Georgia, offensive lineman Xavier Truss. Could play tackle, could play guard.
Sure. Yeah, a little versatility. We talked about that. Nothing wrong with that.
His run blocking is ahead of his pass protection. He's a right tackle or guard in the National Football League.
First round, I definitely approve.
I'd give you the 5th and 6th rounds here from Walter Football, but we're all out of time. So we'll go deep tomorrow on Thursday with our own mock draft simulation. 2 weeks until the 2025 draft, boys.
So he calls himself the most accurate mock drafter?
That's what the headline of the website says.
I'd like him to prove that. Like, has he been, because they've got contests, right?
They do. Yeah.
So like, is he submitting and he's been anointed that? Is he just saying that?
I know. It kind of feels like it might be false marketing.
It feels very sketchy.
Yeah. You can't just, I don't think you can just say that without some sort of proof or like a certificate that you display on your website,
Blaster,
like a screenshot.
The Blaster's slogan is hysterically funny, but I feel like it's that's fine. If you want to say that you are the thinking man's guy, that's fine. Okay. But I feel like if you say that you're the best, the most accurate, You sort of have to prove that. Double
Yeah.
down.
If you could say you're the best because it's vague enough, like marketing, you won't get hit for that. But if you're saying the most accurate, that's a
Right.
specific claim that could be challenged.
Like my mom thinks that I'm the best is fine because that's probably true.
Yeah, but if it was my mom thinks that I am a straight A student, we can verify whether you're a
Correct.
straight
We can
A
go to your
student,
transcripts.
whether you're an idiot or whatever. So,
Yeah, good point.
all right. One more sleep until Thursday, gentlemen, here. Purple Daily, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.